Computer. Hey, Paul, great to meet you today. Great talking to you today. And then we just want to talk a little bit technical about multifamily and your experiences.
Yeah, sure.
Okay, perfect. So, how long have you been operating multifamily properties and how many deals have you completed as a lead operator?
Well, okay. So I'll back up a little bit. So I got started in real estate investing in 2001 as a college student. Um, over, you know, the last 25 years, hard to believe it's been that long, but over the last 25 years, I've done about 80 single family homes, multiple office, retail buildings, ground up construction, um, ranch development, uh, and then, of course, a lot of multifamily. Um, currently, let me think here. I think currently, I should pull this up, but because the number is always changing. Like we're buying a property, we're actually closing on a property tomorrow.
Oh,
Actually, it's today. And the closings are not like single family where you go to a title company
yeah.
and you sign the documents. They actually start emailing you documents about 2 weeks before, and then like you keep closing all the way until eventually, eventually they say you get an email and say, "Okay, we're closed," and you're like, "Oh, okay, all right." So we're actually in the middle of closing.
Okay.
I'll find out later what time we actually closed. But so right now I've got
Is it in Texas, the one that is
yep,
close to
yep,
it?
it's in Texas. And so right now we've got 1600 or so doors. We'll have another 112 after this, and then under contract on another, 250 or so. So that'll put us about 1850, 1860
Yeah,
doors, I think. Yeah.
it's good.
And then I'm actively managing um, actively managing about 750 doors, uh and then after today, after our closing today, it'll be 860. And then some of the other ones I'm just like guarantor, sponsor, or uh, you know, not super active in the day-to-day stuff.
When you say you're active managing, you mean your role is an asset manager?
Yes.
Okay, so almost 700 to 800, you are the asset manager.
Yes. And a lot of times it's not just like me, the only asset manager. Like I've got my strengths and weaknesses too,
Hmm.
but usually we'll have 2 to 3 people on the asset management team.
Okay,
Maybe one person has like a really strong finance and analytical, um, background. The other one has CapEx, and then the other one has like operational.
yeah.
So when you have the right team there, then you can, hopefully avoid a lot of pitfalls and just really maximize the value of the property.
How important is the team for you?
Team is like a make or break deal.
Okay,
If you have the wrong team, even a good deal can be tough.
yeah,
And if you have the right team, if you have a great team, um, if you have a lot of problems and surprises on a property, things can still turn out okay.
okay,
But if you have the wrong team, it's going to be an uphill battle the entire time,
yeah,
and it's not going to be any fun. So, and as short as life is, you don't want to be working with the wrong team.
yeah,
Might as well do stuff you enjoy with people you enjoy it with.
okay. That's great. What are the things that you do to find the right people?
Well, talk to a lot of people,
Okay,
one, and then usually it's a slow process of, if somebody asks me to partner on a deal and I don't know them, I'm really reluctant to do that right off the start.
Okay.
unless they come like highly recommended from, multiple people that I, you know,
Trust.
respect and trust. Yeah. Yeah. So, I mean, some people I've gotten to know them over 4, 5, 6, 7, 10 years before I ever did my first deal with them.
Uh,
Um, and then others, it's been faster than that, sometimes 6 months or a year, and then I'm working with somebody.
yeah, that's good. And then how many deals have you exited? Like multifamily, full cycle, exited?
Um, so on the single family, I did about $20 million in my own personal
Yeah,
portfolio.
yeah.
Um, and then on the multifamily side, it's I have to think how many deals, how many doors, how many dollars, but
Roughly, roughly.
yeah, it's probably 5 exits on the no, it's probably more like 8 exits on the commercial side. Um, and of course, still have a lot of the portfolios. So
Okay,
we got a few exits kind of in the works for next year. So
okay,
that'll
okay.
pick that up.
Got it. And then what type of markets do you focus on and why those markets?
So I look for landlord and business friendly markets.
Yeah,
Um, it's just, for me, and I know a lot of people have had success in the other markets. But I like to stick to landlord friendly, business friendly states. Um, because if a tenant doesn't pay, then they just can't stay. Um, I don't want to, be working with a tenant that doesn't want to pay or can't pay for a year or 2 years or 6 months. If they can't pay, then, they need to find a place that they can afford and they can stay at. So I just looked for landlord and business friendly. And then, there's a few other things, you want to see like population growth, a diverse economy. So I don't want to invest in a place where they only have one economic driver. Oil fields, for example, if that's the only economic driver, there's nothing else, that could be a recipe for disaster. If it's a military town where the only thing they have there is military, if they have a big deployment, you could lose half your population in a matter of months.
yeah.
Um, if it's only education, that university might, you know, move to a new location or something, or, kind of close down some of their programs, or they might open a bunch of student housing or, so I like a diverse economy with that's easy to operate in. And then you also want to look for, of course, like growing economy, what's driving the economy, um, population growth, things like that. And then certain income levels.
What kind of population growth are you looking at? Like, what is the threshold? If it's below this number, you are like, no.
I guess I don't have like a hard number for that, but like some cities I've looked at, they've been slowly decreasing in population. And I mean, that's just going to be bad no
Yeah,
matter how you look at it, because you're going to have more vacancies, and then there's going to have a, supply demand imbalance, and that's going to drive pricing down.
yeah.
People, struggle to fill their units. So I don't really have a number for that, but I don't want a declining population, preferably, 1% or two per year is great.
1 or 2% a year is great. Okay,
Yeah.
okay. Can you share a deal that went really well?
Yes. Fortunately, I have more deals that went well than deals that didn't go well. Um, so I'll give you one here. Bought a 224 unit property in Lubbock, Texas. Uh, and the city had a lot of growth and development going on, and actually had rent increases at a time after COVID when the the rents went up across the country really high, really fast, and then in some markets they were coming down. This market never had that like boom, and so it never experienced the bust. And so negotiated a deal um, with an owner, self-managed, and it was 78% occupied when we bought it. But we were able to get it with a loan assumption. So we were able to get high leverage with a 4.29% interest rate.
which was below the market rate at the time.
Yeah. And at the time, the rates were really high at, mid sixes, high sixes.
Yeah.
So it was a really tough time to buy, but we negotiated a deal. There was a lot of deferred maintenance. The owner didn't have money to run it properly and didn't want to invest the money. And so we were able to get a really good price on it. We kept a really close eye on the expenses, and we were able to get a lot of the renovations done for much, much lower um, than we had budgeted.
Yeah.
So yeah, so that property is going really, really well. Um, we're been paying distributions. So
So it's still you have it, right?
yep, still have it. And um, yes, we've got a refinance here in a few months coming up. So really happy about that.
Okay, like 4 years in,
That one's 2 years in.
2 years in. Okay.
Yep.
And then can you share one deal that didn't go as planned?
Yeah. So um, we this thing had was interesting from the beginning. So we were under contract to purchase this property. It was four buildings. I think each building was like 27 units or something like that. It was, yeah, that sounds right. 20. So one of the buildings burned really badly while we were under contract to purchase it.
Wow.
So before closing, and actually it was a tenant. Um, he got mad at his girlfriend, and so he set her kitchen on fire. And
Wow.
then now that didn't do much damage. It just burned small kitchen fire. Well, he came back like 2 weeks later to her apartment and set it on fire again. And this time the entire building was burned so badly that it had to all vacate. There were holes in the roof, all this.
27 units gone.
27 units, yeah. So it took us a long time, but we negotiated that the seller would give us the insurance proceeds, which I think was like $3 million. And but there's never really a guarantee that you're going to get anything for insurance proceeds.
Really?
So yeah, because the insurance company can say, well, that was a previous owner. We're not going to give you any proceeds, or they can just deny the claim for whatever reason. So the seller agreed to give us, I want to say it was like, I want to say it was like $2.8 million that they left in escrow, that if the insurance company didn't pay, then we could get their money that was in escrow.
Yeah.
So they were very motivated to give us to get the insurance claim approved.
Yeah.
And we had the kind of the assurance that we're going to get something. Well, this was in Birmingham, Alabama, and the normally we can send like an army of contractors into a building like this and knock it out really fast. So we had planned for, I think, 6 months of renovations, but the city actually said, well, you can only send one licensed trade into the building at any time. So
Is
you
it
can
is
only
it
have
per
elect
Lubbock's policy or is it the whole tech?
oh, so that was in Birmingham, Alabama.
Oh, very yes, yes. Okay.
So they said we could only have, if we're going to have like one electrician in the building, we can't have any plumbers or framers or um, roofers or HVAC or anything like that. So instead of the renovation taking 6 months, it took us like 18 months to complete the renovations.
You didn't
So
know
we
about
had,
this policy before closing, is that right?
I don't think it was even a policy. They just decided
Oh,
that we couldn't
at the
do that.
moment, yeah.
So we had planned to give distributions to investors. Um, and of course, we had planned on getting the units ready kind of in batches, like have, 3 or 4 units. And then next month we've got 3 or 4 units. And then so we could have those ready and rented each month. And then by the, sixth or seventh or eighth month, we've got 100% full and everything's renovated. But we couldn't even start leasing until 18 months of ownership.
Wow.
And then we had all these, 27 vacant units to lease all at the same time.
But the other three properties with 27 units each, they were operating normally, is that right?
Yes. Yes.
But they were
Yeah.
just paying the mortgage, right? Nothing left for investors.
Right. Right. So in the end, um, we got it we got it done. We got it leased up, and then we weren't planning to sell it. Shortly after, we started getting offers for the property, and we went ahead and sold the property.
Okay.
Our returns were a little lower than we had projected.
Okay.
Um, and we had it wasn't just a 12-month delay because we were going to have units ready within the first month.
Yeah.
So really we had to wait 18 months to start leasing, and so it's probably more like a 20, 21, 22 month delay
Yeah.
on that. So I think in that case we had, projected maybe 16.5% return to investors annually. And they ended up getting like a 13 and a quarter, something like that. So
Not
it
bad.
was, yeah, we missed our expectations. And, I was worried that investors were going to be all upset, and near pretty much all but one of the investors has reinvested with us on other deals,
Okay.
with me on other deals. So it it didn't turn out too bad, but that's
This is basically one of the worst returns that you offer to your investors, right?
yeah, yeah. We're typically, 16 to 18, sometimes 19 or 20%
Okay.
per year.
Cool. Have you ever had a deal that lost money for investors? So I'm guessing that the answer is no.
No, never lost money for investors. I did make a loan. Uh, uh, so I acted as a lender to another operator, and we had a loss on that one.
Yeah.
But that's you know my loss, and it was a bad deal, but it was something that I had no control over it, and we were just a lender
And
to
then
the
was
deal.
it your first time that you were lending to another operator, another property? Okay.
Yes.
Was
Yeah.
the property itself collateral?
Yes, it was, but the property ended up going to foreclosure. Um, it was, yeah, it was just a mess.
Okay.
So,
Yeah. What is your core investment strategy right now? Is it value add? Do you do any development? Or if that's the case, explain a
um,
bit about this strategy.
yeah, no development. I just do value add market rate multifamily. So when I talk about like market rate, so no student housing, we
Okay.
don't do senior, we don't do um, low income, we don't do stuff like that. We just stick to market rate. And we'll have a few, subsidized here and there, or Section 8 sometimes.
Uh-huh.
Um, just a very small percentage. And then the value add, I'm looking for something. I don't want to buy something that's in like perfect condition and I can't like up level the property,
Yeah.
because we can create a ton of value when we're adding amenities, making the property nicer, And then we're also able to raise the rents in conjunction with the improved property.
Okay. What is the market cap? What is the, yeah, market cap that you purchase? What is that market cap? And then what is the, oh, sorry, cap rate that you sell the property?
Well, so there's not like a set answer for that.
Okay.
So the property that we're buying, closing on today, um, we're actually buying it at a 6.9 cap, which
Okay.
is outstanding. I
Yeah.
mean, that's like our loan is at 5.3, and so we're going to be making a nice, return for investors starting on day one,
Yeah.
and we're going to be paying out distributions, right away.
Okay.
Um, but there's not a huge value add on that one. Basically, we got this from kind of a partnership split. Two partners, uh, decided to go different ways, and so they kind of divided up the portfolio. And this one, one kept some properties, one kept some properties, and then they kind of had this one in the middle. They ended up selling off some properties. Um, so that one is a 6.9 cap.
Yeah.
Sometimes we buy properties that's like a zero cap because it's losing money day one.
Yeah.
I bought a property a couple years ago, um, and I got it for 90% leverage. It was a loan assumption, and the owner was losing money. He was bleeding money like crazy. Out of state owner in Hawaii, and he just hired like a local single family realtor to manage his apartment complex,
Oh God.
who's never managed an apartment complex. So
Uh,
so we bought this at I mean, it'd be a negative cap rate. Um, the rents were averaging 682 per unit in an area where the rents, should have been 1,000 or 1,100. Um, so that's a negative cap rate. Now the property is between 95 and 100% occupied almost all the time.
yeah.
The rents are, between 1,000 and 1,100 on all the units. Um, so, um, so I bought it at a negative cap rate, and now it's if I look at the money that's bringing in now and the distributions we're able to pay now compared to what I bought it, it might be like a 10 cap or something right now.
So the cap rate right now is 10.
Maybe off the top of my head, it may
Okay.
be something
That's
like
really
that.
good, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
But when I bought it, it was a negative cap
It
rate.
was a negative
So
because the NOI was almost negative, and then you purchase it really low, so the purchase price is low, and then you increase the NOI. That's why the cap rate is high. Yeah.
yeah, in that case, they were about 70% occupied, but then some of the ones that were occupied, they hadn't paid in like months or maybe a year. So it was maybe 70% occupied, but maybe only 50%
Yeah.
uh, paying.
Yeah.
So
Like economy,
um,
something. Yeah.
yeah, so the cap rate is, the higher your cap rate, the generally the less value add opportunity there is.
Yeah.
Like it's okay to buy a negative cap rate deal
Yeah.
if there's enough value add.
Yeah.
So, um, but if you buy a high cap rate deal, then don't expect that you're going to be able to add a lot of value.
Yeah.
Um, so there's not really I wish I could say I always buy seven cap properties,
Okay. Okay. Got it.
Um, and then when it comes to selling, you're kind of limited to what the market will allow. If
Okay.
everything in Lubbock is selling for a six cap, you
Yeah.
can't expect to sell it for a five cap.
Yeah.
And then you also have to like compare like actual sales. Like if the Class A properties are selling for a five and a half cap,
Yeah.
but you have a 1980 class, you know, B or C property, you're not going to get a five and a half cap. You might get a six or maybe a six and a half or whatever.
Okay. Makes sense.
So yeah, so the entry cap depends on the value add. Exit cap depends on the market.
Okay. Good to know. Very cool. And then, so the deals that you get, are they all of them off market, coming from the relationship that you've built with brokers over years and years, or are they some of them on market or some of them off?
Um, it's frequently off market, but but I also get plenty of marketed deals. Um, Fortunately, a lot of the deals that do go to market, I get an early look at it, just because the relationships, I've closed on so many different properties and the people just know like what, the different brokers know this is what I'm looking for and I can close, I don't do a retrade if I don't have to. Um, and so I get a lot of off-market deals and deals that, haven't really totally fully hit the market.
Okay, are you the only one who gets these deals, or the broker sends them also to other operators too?
Um, it depends. On some deals, the broker just says, "Hey, I've got a deal. It's going to hit market in a couple of weeks." I just left the seller's office and he just signed a listing agreement. Or sometimes they tell me like, "Hey, I'm working on a deal. I'm trying to get the seller to sign the agreement and take it to market. Are you interested?" So
Okay,
sometimes I get lucky like that, and then other times, I just get a email blast that maybe 1,000 other people get, or maybe 10,000 people get. Who knows?
that makes it harder, right? Company,
Yeah,
yeah,
but all the different people are busy,
yeah.
uh, and so you can still find plenty of good deals that go to market.
Okay. Yeah, so there are always basically what you're saying, that there is always opportunities. Always.
If I underwrote every deal that came to my email, I would probably need like two or three full-time assistants.
Okay. Oh,
So
wow. So there are a lot of deals. Okay.
yeah, a lot of deals. Yeah.
So you prioritize deals coming off market through the brokers that you already know. The better you know the brokers, the more you work with them, the higher chance that you're going to look at their deals first.
Yes. Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah. And sometimes like if a deal doesn't work out with a broker, then they feel like they owe me one.
Yeah,
Like if I, was putting in a lot of work on a deal and then the seller changed his mind
yeah,
and like, I'm not going to sell it. Then the broker feels like, well, I got to give Paul a deal.
yeah,
Oh, here's a deal. Let me send it to him first.
yeah,
And so, yeah.
yeah.
Or if they want to sell one of my properties, they'll be like, hey, they'll be asking me that. And so they'll do me a favor by sending me off-market deals, hoping that I'm going to select them to list a property
Oh,
that
wow.
and they know I'm going to sell. Yeah.
Win-win, right? Give something,
Yeah.
you take something. If you want to take something, you have to give something.
Yeah. Yeah.
Win-win, everyone wins. And then is that something that you see yourself doing the same thing in the next 5 or 10 years?
Yes. Yeah. I really enjoy it. I like a challenge sometimes, and it's really exciting to find a fantastic deal. And I've got a lot of repeat investors that will, text me or call me like, "Hey, you got anything coming up?" One CEO sold his share of the company to private equity, and he's got a big payout coming in February.
Yeah,
And so he's told me multiple times, like, "Hey, I'm gonna get, quite a bit of money." So, um, you know,
that's good.
yeah,
So he has already done deals with you. He has already invested, got the return, so he knows
yeah,
you, right? He trusts you.
yeah, yeah. He's done multiple deals. So, when you kind of have this steady supply of investors wanting to reinvest and you keep doing good deals with them,
Yeah, why
then
not?
it's like,
Always
why not
say
give back?
that. They always say that focus on one thing that you are really good at and be like the number one, the best of best, and then just keep going that thing. You don't need to change the course all the time, right? Yeah,
Right, right. Yeah.
that's the best way to um, build wealth, to focus on one thing. Yeah.
Yeah.
And what is the reason that you are not working on student housing, senior housing, low income housing? Is that because it's not that's something that you have experience with, or is it because these are not good assets?
It's just because I've never done it before.
Okay.
There's going to be a learning curve. But there's so much opportunity and value add. And by the way, there's a lot of opportunity in senior housing, low income, LI tech, military, things like that. So there's a lot of opportunity. Those aren't bad,
Yeah.
but it's just not my expertise.
Yeah.
And if a broker that I've already transacted with a few times and we've got to know each other, if he brought me a deal and said, this is an absolute killer deal, seller needs to sell, he's got, limited time frame, I really think you should take a look at it.
Yeah.
Then in that case, I would call a friend of mine who's done a lot of that's got a lot of experience in that area. Be like, hey, let's do a deal together. And you tell me if it's a good deal. And then I would do it that way because I don't want to be like practicing with somebody else's money and do something that I have no idea what I'm doing. So I just stick to it just because it's what I know.
Yeah. Beside real world experience doing operation management, all these things, do you do anything extra as like investing in yourself, improving in yourself, either reading books, joining masterminds, anything that helps you to become a better, brighter, smarter, more efficient person?
Yes, I do hopefully all of the above. Uh, Usually I used to set a goal to read 52 books a year. I've never hit the goal. I've never hit it. The closest I've come, I think, was like 23 books in 1 year.
It's good.
Normally I end up with, you know, 10 to 15 books a year. And then sometimes I get close to that 20 book mark. This year I didn't read nearly my reading went way down, so I need to pick that up next year. I also go to, masterminds, conferences, sometimes because I'm speaking at them, but sometimes I also like to get into other conferences where, like, I'm not the most successful person in the room. I want to get into rooms where I'm the least successful
Yeah, yeah.
and, get around other people because you just get ideas, you get inspiration. Um, So yeah, I think it's always worthwhile to invest in yourself.
That's why I live in San Francisco. I feel like everyone else is like 10 steps ahead of me, which is good.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, I think I am in that book rate that you said. I think I am in like 22 books a year right now. Yeah. I'm not 52, but I think I'm 22, 23. Yeah. Okay.
Okay.
What do you think, believe? Probably we're going to talk maybe 7 minutes more and then wrap it up. What do you think? What do you believe is your competitive edge versus other operator in the same market?
Um, there's a lot of good operators out there.
Right.
And actually there's plenty of bad ones too. Um,
Right.
but I would like to think that I have a disciplined approach
Okay.
to where I'm able to walk away from a deal if it doesn't make sense.
Yeah.
I've seen a lot of people, they start working on a deal and they get like emotionally attached to the deal.
Very important. Yeah.
And then when they come across surprises in the deal,
Yeah.
there's aluminum wiring or there's a bad roof or there's the tenants aren't what they, the quality they thought. They're like, well, it's okay. We'll work through that. And then by the time they get to closing, they have a bad deal.
Yeah.
They've got a bad roof, bad tenant base, bad plumbing, bad electrical, bad economics, just all kinds of bad stuff. But they were so emotionally attached that they couldn't they couldn't quit at some point. So I'd like to think that I'm more disciplined, but I have to be honest, when you got a deal that you're really excited about
Yeah.
and you have some bad surprises, it's a real temptation to just say like, oh, that'll work itself out.
Yeah. Yeah. I second that. Yeah. I was reading the latest book that I'm reading is Winning the Loser's Game. Winning the Loser's Game. It's about stock market. Um, okay. Uh, it's winning a loser's game. It's about stock market and how to be disciplined. So all these stock markets are filled with institutional investors. Um, they control 90% of market cap in current stock market, and they're all smart. They have plenty budget to invest in a smart analyst, and then yeah, it's hard to compete with them. So what that book says, it's a textbook. It's a really textbook. It says to stay disciplined, don't be emotional, and then basically invest in indexed 500 S&P 500, and then don't sell when everyone is selling, which is low. Don't buy when everyone else is buying, which is buying high.
Yeah, it's hard. It's really hard to do that though. I mean, it's everybody knows you buy low and you sell high.
Yeah.
But then like when you see some stock just shooting like a rocket, then it's hard not to want to get on the bandwagon.
Yeah.
You see Bitcoin shoot up to whatever it is. I don't pay much attention to that, but you see it shoot up to, 106 or 110,000. And then, it's like, man, it's going up to 200, and then you buy it and then it drops down to, whatever, 70.
80.
Like,
Yeah.
but we get caught up in the hype. And we saw that a lot in multifamily. Um, the market was on fire and like you could raise money for a deal without even trying.
Yeah.
You just like you mentioned at the coffee shop that you're buying a deal and raising money and you got like six investors lining up to, give money to a complete stranger.
Yeah.
I mean, like people couldn't invest fast enough. And that was the worst time to buy
Yeah.
in, 2022, 2023, and,
Yeah.
2021, depending on the kind of debt you're getting. If you're
Yeah.
getting the, adjustable bridge debt, but, you get caught up in the hype. And so.
Yeah. Now that everyone is running away from multifamily, it's a good time.
Well, and now that there's some actually really good deals out there,
Yeah.
really good opportunities. There's still some bad ones, but there's some really, really fantastic opportunities. Like it's like pulling teeth to get people to invest because they
Yeah.
remember,
They
what
got burned
happened
out. Yeah.
last time they got caught up in the hype.
So it was great talking to you, Paul. I about to kind of hang up. I think we asked a lot of good questions. We used your wisdom, your experience. I think I'm gonna close it for now for today. And I have plenty, like out of 30 questions that I prepared, I only asked 10 of them. So that which is a good thing. So that means that we can have more materials, more content for future. And then so let me stop the recording.